Tip number 7, and we're going to continue on the theme of sleep and recovery, and I'm going to do a tiny bit of maths and try not to confuse myself, but we're going to look at investing as much as you can into your mattress and bedding and really valuing that sleep so that we get that 7 to 9 hours. This book yesterday for the tip on sleeping, and the guy doing it when we went through basic training or basic aircrew training had a really good exercise which I'll go through now, which is how much we value our sleep and our bedding compared with how much we value our car. So what we've got to do is work out how many hours we spend in our bed versus how many hours we spend in our car, and then work out how much our bed and bedding costs us versus how much our car costs us. What we'll do for this exercise is we'll just take a bed and a car over a 5-year period. We'll work out how many hours we spend in our bed, how many hours we spend in our car, and then how we value this, which is what we spend on our bed and bedding, how much we spend in a car on a typically 5-year average. Now I know people change the car every 3 years, I know people may change the bed less than 5 years, but we'll simplify the figures just to prove a point. How much time do we spend in our bed on average over a 5-year period? 8 hours of sleep per night on average, and you don't have to sleep that, but it's the time you spent in the bed. So all you that scroll through social media and lay in your bed for 2 hours before, and for all them that like a laying on a weekend, I would say on average you spend 8 hours per day, every day in your bed. Times 365, because you always go to bed unless you're crazy and you decide not to, and then times that by 5 years. 14,600 hours in a 5-year period. That's how much time you spend in your bed. Now we're going to work out how much time we spend in our car. So, on average, 1 hour per day, every day, 7 days a week of time in your car. And I know people have got longer commutes, and I know people, may take road trips where they spend hours in their car. But on other occasions, you might not spend any time in your car on a weekend. So I've got it, or we did as a group, we spent about 1 hour per day in your car. So again, we'll have to times that by the average over 5 years, which is... So, on average, you spend in your bed 14,600 hours over a 5-year period, which is a lot of time. However, in your car, you spend 1,825 hours. So the next question to ask is, how much do you spend on each? Now, this differs massively. So when we did this study, we had people that didn't spend more than sort of 500 quid on their car, whereas you had people that spent £50,000 on a car that's brand new. We worked out the average as around about £10,000 you spend on your car. And that would be, yes, cars lose money, and I know there might be people that are arguing that say, oh yeah, I always buy second-hand cars and I don't lose more than £1,000 a year and everything else. But realistically, if you're doing a lease, if you're buying brand new, if you're doing anything else, you're expected to lose over 5 years probably about £10,000. However, on your bed, now this is from a military background where people didn't invest anything, so you did get some, people that invested, I don't know, maybe £50, £100, but if you say that's £1,000 every 5 years, now you might, and as I did, from that moment on, I realised that I needed to be investing more on this because of the time I spent in bed than more on my car. Now, if you're already a convert to sleeping, and I would assume if you've got young children you are, then you're probably spending more on your bedding. If not, and you're fairly younger, you're in your 20s, it really is time to start valuing more, or valuing your sleep more than what you are doing. Certainly, if your car is costing 10 times more than what you sleep in and spend all your time in. And it was just a little silly exercise that we did that made you think about valuing your sleep and your bedding. So I hope this has been a little fun way through, as it was for me, about how you value your sleep and your bedding and your bed and your mattress and everything else. But tip number 7 is try and invest as much as you can into your bed and your bedding, and probably not on everything else like your TV or some other shit you buy. So we'll jump in tomorrow when we go for tip number 8, and we'll have a look at sleep and recovery again. So have a great day. Bye.